Hi everyone, it is 7 in the morning on a Thursday. By the time this video is out, it's probably gonna be a Monday. But yeah, I recorded this on Thursday. Today's my day off at work, so I thought, let's make a new video. Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of Music Unfiltered. If you are new to the channel, welcome. We talk about art in general and music specifically without any filters or bullshit. Today's topic is about the relationship between mixing and mastering, because there's a lot of confusion when it comes to mixing and mastering. So a lot of people think that mixing and mastering are two completely separate processes that are like unrelated, which is not the case, because if you don't know the relationship between both mixing and mastering, chances are, if you're a mixing engineer, you're gonna fuck up the mastering engineer's job, or at least you're gonna make it a lot harder. And if you're a mastering engineer, you're gonna start blaming things on the mixing engineer, and it might be your fault. This video is hopefully gonna clear things up between both worlds. And today you're gonna start to see the real advantage of learning how to mix and master your own music. I know I've said it before that you should not do that when you're first getting started, and I would still say that. But eventually learning that is going to save you a lot of time, and saving time is really important because you're going to die eventually. Let's start with the first point. Levels should be addressed in the mixing phase. The reason is very obvious, because the mastering engineer can only control the volume of the master fader. So he has no control over separate channels. Of course, they can adjust using EQs and all of that, and dynamic EQs. But if you want something to be very loud in the mix, you have to do it in the mix. You can't just say, hey, the mastering engineer is gonna fix that. The second point is for mixing engineers, and you guys should leave some headroom for the mastering phase, because if you don't, he's gonna have a really hard time making changes to the master, and he's just gonna be like clipping all the time. I'm gonna jump into Ableton and show you what I mean. Okay guys, so this is a clip I made for this video, and it's just a normal lead. So you can see that it is at 0 dB right here, and if I open the limiter on the master, you can see that it's already clipping. You can see that it's already clipping at 0 dB. So imagine if the mastering engineer wanted to boost the highs a little bit to bring out that clarity. You're already clipping, like it went in clipping. So yeah, the difference when you give it like a -6 dB headroom is that right now I have so much more space to work with, and I can just now, I'm probably not gonna make drastic changes as a mastering engineer, but you get the point. I will have so much more freedom to edit and fix things if something went wrong, if I have like a few dBs of headroom. Another important point is to never leave everything at 0 dB ever, as both the mixing engineer and the mastering engineer. The reason is because when you export the audio, it's going to be sampled. It's not going to be completely lossless. Now, I don't want to get very technical with this, but what you need to know is that even if it's not clipping, when you export it, it might clip if you're at 0. And this also applies to the mastering. So if you master it and you set the limiter ceiling to 0 dB, when you export the track to labels and stuff, you might have some frequencies that are clipping, and you will lose some of that quality. Master engineers should not really change a lot in the vibe and the feeling of the song. So the creativity in the mastering process should be very limited, unless you're asked to by the mixing engineer. Now, if you're the same person, shouldn't be a problem, because it's like your track, so you can do whatever you want. But if you are a mastering engineer and somebody sends you a track, you cannot change the vibe of the song. So what I mean by that is you can't really just boost the mids and lower the highs if there's no problem. And communication is key when you're trying to work with a mixing engineer, because if you feel like something is wrong, you don't just change it if it's gonna like change the vibe. So if you feel like the song is missing a lot of mid-range, it might be the artist's request. So don't go ahead and like boost the mids without asking the mixing engineer first. So there's this thing that I don't know why a lot of people don't really do. You could always make some changes after the mastering engineer sends you the final result. If you feel like the lead needs a little bit of volume, there's nothing wrong with like pushing the lead up and sending it back to the mastering engineer, but like tell him to keep the settings as is. You should actually listen to the final mastering and adjust based on that. So there's nothing wrong with that. Again, if you're the same person, that's a very natural process. You should always go back to the mix and fix it in the mix if you cannot fix it in the master. Communicate. If you need to fix something in the mix, tell the mastering engineer. And if the mastering engineer wants you to fix something, you should probably do that as well. And yeah, this is it for the relationship between mixing and mastering. Guys, my name is Mincer, and if you find this video helpful, please consider liking and subscribing. And I will see you next week. Bye.